David had lost everything: his job, his wife, his hope. Driving through the worst storm in years, facing eviction in 2 weeks, he almost didn't stop when he saw the crashed plane. That decision to help a bleeding stranger would save 2 broken lives and make his daughter's impossible dreams soared up. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. The rain hit David's windshield like angry fists as he drove home from another failed job interview. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tight his knuckles turned white. 3 months. 3 months since the factory closed down and took his job with it. 3 months of watching his 8-year-old daughter Lily's bright smile fade a little more each day. "Why did Mommy have to leave us, Daddy?" Lily had asked him again this morning, standing in her torn school shoes by the kitchen window, watching other kids get dropped off by their mothers. David's heart had shattered all over again. His wife Sarah had walked out 2 years ago, saying she couldn't handle the pressure of being a mother. She left behind a broken man and a little girl who still waited by the window every evening, hoping Mommy would come home. Now, driving through the worst storm their small town had seen in years, David felt the weight of the world crushing his chest. The eviction notice was tucked in his jacket pocket like a death sentence. They had 2 weeks. 2 weeks before he and Lily would be homeless. Lightning split the sky, and through the rain, David saw something that made him slam on his brakes. A small plane had crash-landed in Miller's Field, its wing crumpled against an old oak tree. Steam rose from the engine, and David could see a figure slumped over in the cockpit. His first thought was to keep driving. He had enough problems without getting involved in someone else's disaster. But then he thought of Lily, and what she would say if she knew her daddy had left someone to die in a storm. Chapter 2: An Unlikely Rescue. David pulled over and ran through the rain toward the wreckage. The pilot was a woman, probably in her 30s, with blood trickling down her forehead. She was conscious but dazed, trying to unbuckle her safety harness with shaking hands. "Don't move," David shouted over the storm. "You might be hurt worse than you think." The woman looked up at him with startling green eyes. "My leg," she gasped. "I think it's broken. The radio's dead. I need to call for help." David helped her out of the cockpit, supporting her weight as she winced in pain. "My truck's right there. I'll get you to the hospital." "Wait," she said, grabbing his arm. "My bag." "The black bag in the back seat. Please, it's important." David retrieved the bag and helped her to his truck. As they drove toward town, she introduced herself as Captain Amanda Hayes, a cargo pilot who'd been caught in the storm while flying supplies to the next county. "Thank you," she said quietly, clutching the black bag. "You didn't have to stop." David glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "My daughter would never forgive me if I'd left someone out there." "You have a daughter?" "Lily. She's 8. David's voice softened whenever he talked about her. She's everything to me." Amanda was quiet for a moment. "Where's her mother?" "Gone." The word came out harder than David intended. "It's just me and Lily now." At the hospital, David waited while doctors examined Amanda's injuries. A broken leg, a mild concussion, but nothing life-threatening. She would be in the hospital for a few days and her plane would need major repairs. "I don't know how to thank you," Amanda said when David came to check on her before leaving. "You saved my life." David shrugged uncomfortably. "Anyone would have done the same." "No," Amanda said firmly. "Not everyone would have stopped. Not everyone would have cared." Chapter 3: Unexpected Visitors. 2 days later, David was surprised to find Amanda at his front door, leaning on crutches. She wore civilian clothes instead of her pilot uniform, and she looked younger somehow, more vulnerable. "I wanted to thank you properly," she said. "And I wanted to meet the daughter who taught her father to be a hero." Lily appeared behind David, curious about their visitor. When she saw Amanda's crutches, her eyes went wide with concern. "Are you hurt?" Lily asked. "Daddy, why didn't you tell me she was hurt?" "This is Captain Hayes," David said. "She's a pilot. I helped her when her plane crashed in the storm." Lily's mouth fell open. "You're a real pilot? Like in the sky?" Amanda smiled for the first time since the crash. "That's right. I fly cargo planes." "I want to be a pilot too," Lily said shyly. "But Daddy says we can't afford flying lessons. He says lots of things cost too much money now." David felt his cheeks burn with embarrassment. He hadn't meant for a stranger to hear about their financial troubles. Amanda looked between father and daughter, something shifting in her expression. "You know what? I think I could teach you a few things about flying. Would you like that?" Chapter 4: Building Trust. Over the next week, Amanda became a regular visitor to their small apartment. She taught Lily about aerodynamics using paper airplanes, explained how engines worked with drawings on napkins, and told stories about flying through clouds that made the little girl's eyes shine with wonder. David watched these interactions with mixed feelings. He was grateful that someone was paying attention to his daughter, giving her something to be excited about. But he was also terrified. People always left. His wife had left. His parents had died when he was young. Every boss who'd ever fired him had left. What would happen when Amanda got better and flew away? "You don't have to keep coming here," he told Amanda one evening as Lily was getting ready for bed. "I know you have your own life." Amanda looked up from the flight manual she'd been showing Lily. "Do I make you uncomfortable?" "It's not that." David ran his hands through his hair. "It's just, Lily gets attached easily. When you leave, it's going to break her heart." "Who says I'm leaving?" "Your plane's almost fixed. You said so yourself." Amanda was quiet for a long moment. "David, can I ask you something? What happened to your job?" David's jaw tightened. "Factory closed. Moved production overseas where they could pay workers pennies." "And you've been looking for work since then?" "Every day." The bitterness in his voice was thick. "But this town doesn't have much to offer a guy like me. No college degree, just willing to work hard. That doesn't seem to count for much anymore." Amanda nodded slowly. "I might have a solution for both our problems." Chapter 5. An Unexpected Offer. The next morning, Amanda arrived with coffee and a serious expression. Lily was at school, so David could speak freely. "I need to tell you something," Amanda said. "I wasn't entirely honest about why I was flying through here." David's stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "I wasn't just delivering cargo. I was coming here specifically. To this town." Amanda took a deep breath. "I've been looking for someone to help me with my business. Someone I could trust." "What kind of business?" "I run a small cargo operation. Flying supplies to rural areas, emergency deliveries, that sort of thing. It's good work, honest work, but I've been doing it alone for too long. I need someone on the ground, someone to handle logistics, maintenance, customer relations." David stared at her. "You're offering me a job?" "More than that. I'm offering you a partnership. I've seen how you handle yourself under pressure, how you care for your daughter, how you put others before yourself. Those are exactly the qualities I need in a business partner." "Amanda, I don't know anything about aviation." "You can learn. I'll teach you just like I'm teaching Lily. The question is, are you willing to try?" Chapter 6. Taking Flight. David's first instinct was to say no. It sounded too good to be true, and in his experience, things that sounded too good to be true usually were. But then he thought about the eviction notice, about Lily's worn-out shoes, about the way his daughter's face lit up whenever Amanda talked about flying. "Why me?" he asked. "You could partner with anyone." Amanda smiled. "Because when you found me in that field, you didn't see an opportunity or a way to make money. You saw someone who needed help and you helped. That's rare, David. That's worth building a business around." The partnership wasn't easy at first. David had to learn about FAA regulations, aircraft maintenance, shipping logistics, and customer service. Some nights he fell into bed exhausted, his brain swimming with new information. But for the first time in months he felt hope. Amanda was patient with his questions and mistakes. She showed him how to inspect planes before flights, how to read weather reports, how to coordinate with air traffic control. Slowly, David began to understand the world his daughter dreamed of joining. The business started to grow. They got contracts to deliver medical supplies to remote areas, to transport time-sensitive documents between cities, to provide emergency services during natural disasters. David proved to have a natural talent for organization and customer relations, while Amanda handled the flying and technical aspects. Chapter 7. A Dream Takes Wing. 6 months after the storm that brought them together, David and Amanda's cargo business was thriving. They'd moved to a larger office near the regional airport, and David was able to rent a better apartment for him and Lily. But the biggest change was in Lily herself. Amanda had kept her promise to teach Lily about flying. Every weekend, she took the little girl to the airport to watch planes take off and land. She explained radio communications, weather patterns, and navigation. Most importantly, she never talked down to Lily or treated her like her dreams were silly. "When I grow up, I'm going to fly planes just like Amanda," Lily announced at dinner one night. "And I'm going to help people just like Daddy does." David felt tears prick his eyes. For the first time since Sarah left, his daughter was talking about the future with excitement instead of fear. "That sounds like a wonderful plan," he said. "Amanda says she'll teach me to actually fly when I'm old enough. She says by then our business will be big enough to have lots of planes." "Our business?" David asked. Lily nodded seriously. Amanda says families stick together in business. She says we're family now. That night, after Lily was asleep, David found Amanda on the office balcony, looking out at the airport lights. "Thank you," he said simply. "For what?" "For giving her hope. For giving me hope. For showing us that families can come in all different shapes." Amanda turned to look at him and David saw tears in her eyes. "David, I need to tell you something. I didn't just choose you as a business partner. I chose you as family. Both of you." "What do you mean?" "I was married once. We tried for years to have children but it never happened. Eventually the stress tore us apart. I threw myself into flying because it was easier than dealing with the emptiness." Amanda wiped her eyes. "But then I met you and Lily and suddenly I wasn't empty anymore. You gave me something I'd given up hoping for, a family." Chapter 8, Full Circle. 1 year after the storm, David stood in the same field where he'd found Amanda's crashed plane. But this time he wasn't alone. Lily was beside him, wearing a junior pilot's cap that Amanda had given her, and Amanda was there too, healthy and smiling. They were hosting a community air show to promote their business and raise money for the local children's hospital. Dozens of families had come out to watch the planes and learn about aviation. "Look, Daddy." Lily pointed to the sky where Amanda was flying a demonstration in their newest aircraft. "She's writing letters in the sky." David looked up and saw Amanda spelling out, "Thank you," in white contrails against the blue sky. He knew the message was for him, for stopping that night in the storm, for taking a chance on someone he barely knew. A news reporter approached them with a camera crew. "Mr. Thompson, I understand you started this business after rescuing Ms. Hayes from a plane crash. How has your life changed since then?" David looked at his daughter, who was explaining to a group of younger children how airplane wings created lift. He thought about their new home, their successful business, and most importantly, the family they'd built together. "Sometimes," he said, "the worst storms in your life can blow in the best things. You just have to be brave enough to step out into the rain." Epilogue, Dreams Realized. 5 years later, Lily Thompson Hayes stood in front of her flight instructor, having just completed her first solo flight at the age of 13, the youngest student pilot in the state with a special permit for educational purposes. David watched from the observation deck as his daughter climbed out of the cockpit with the biggest smile he'd ever seen. Amanda stood beside him, no longer just his business partner but his wife of 2 years, wearing a matching smile. "She did it," Amanda whispered, tears streaming down her face. "She actually did it." "Of course she did," David said, pulling his wife close. "She's got the best teacher in the world." Their cargo business had expanded to include flight training, and they'd established a scholarship fund for children from low-income families who dreamed of becoming pilots. Every month they helped another child take their first step toward the sky. As they walked down to congratulate Lily, David remembered that stormy night when he'd almost driven past Amanda's crashed plane. He'd been angry then, bitter about life's unfairness, ready to give up on hope. But sometimes the best things in life come from the moments when you choose to help someone else, even when you feel like you have nothing left to give. Sometimes stopping for a stranger in the rain is the first step toward finding your own way home. Lily ran toward them, still glowing with excitement from her flight. "Did you see me up there? I was flying. I was really flying." David caught his daughter in a fierce hug, this little girl who taught him that heroes come in all sizes, that families can be found in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the most broken people can help heal each other. The storm that had brought them together was long past, but the rainbow that followed would last a lifetime.